Stop texting.
Look, Mr. Harp. I know what your hobbies are.
I'm a musical prodigy.
Yeah. Like, who was that guy that wasn't Mozart but was always envious of Mozart?
Eddie Van Halen?
No, he is a musical genius. You're like Sammy Hagar.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we both have pretty rad hair.
You have pretty red hair. You both, party animals.
Yeah, definitely.
If you could own a bar in Cabo, you would.
And, wait, no, he's not the one that wore the stretchy pants. What's that guy? David Lee Roth.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm more of a David Lee Roth than a Sammy Hagar, which may be worse, really, to admit about yourself.
Well, you're comfortable in your sexuality either way.
That's true. You got that right.
King of New Comic Day!
Foxy, it's good to have you back on this side of the camera. You do excellent work on that side of the camera. But this side is where the fun is. Well, it's a pretty good week for books this week. It's kind of cool. We got some previews watch coming for you also.
Yeah, meant to do that last week. Whoops.
Our bad. I'm over it. You over it?
Oh, I'm over it.
All right, we're over it.
Moving right along. Top 5.
Top 5. So coming in at 5 this week, we have Saga issue number 29. Woo!
Well, it's still Saga.
Still Saga. And much like Game of Thrones, they save all the best action for right towards the end. And we're coming to the end of the 5th volume now, I believe.
Yeah, this is the penultimate of the 5th.
So don't miss out, because dragons are cool.
Big stuff happens.
Yeah, big stuff with big dragons.
In an innuendo-esque way, and also in a character way.
In all ways.
Don't worry, later on in the top 5, we'll get more to big stuff innuendos. Tank Girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, we will? What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Coming in at number 4 this week, it is Harrow County issue number 2. Colin Bunn's county horror story continues.
And Tyler Crook's painting continues to impress.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Colin Bunn delivers a solid script and an excellent story so far through 2 issues. Tyler Crook's art continues to be the thing that pushes this book over the top and into the top 5.
Totally killing it.
Coming in at number 3 is a little bit of a shocker because neither one of us really expected to like this book. And we both started talking and we were like, man, you know what I actually really liked? Marvel Zombies, part of Secret Wars, Battle World, Marvel Zombies. It was cool.
Yeah, I couldn't help but check it out after the setup that it got in Hickman's
right, where they're talking about
Secret Wars
the
main
Shield,
title.
which...
Yeah, the Shield is basically like the Great Wall of China across the whole southern hemisphere of the Earth.
So Secret Wars is now Game of Thrones, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go there. One king, all these kingdoms, all these dukes, and a giant wall.
And an army of undead hordes.
Right, on the other side of that
wall. But
on to you, Hickman. I know your games.
I totally dug, I think her name's Elsa Bloodstone is the star of this. I haven't really seen her before or since.
Where she's from.
If you ever read Warren Ellis's Nextwave, Agents of H.A.T.E.
I have not read that.
Well, it's coming back out in trade paperback in a timely fashion because she was one of the stars of that.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a bunch of lesser-known Avengers-esque characters in a team-up that made them all hilarious and awesome.
Okay.
As drawn by Stuart Immonen, who is the boss.
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 So, yeah, Marvel Zombies, it's cool. We get Bloodstone. She gets stranded on the wrong side of the wall and teamed up with this mystery boy, and now they can't go back to the wall, so they got to find a new path back.
They're exploring the unknown beyond the hordes side of the wall, which is cool.
It's cool, and the art is great. Like, the zombies were fantastic, and Simon Spurrier, he likes his characters a little cocky, a little quippy, and yeah, Bloodstone.
It fits for Bloodstone.
It did. Coming in at number 2, it is 21st Century Tank Girl issue number 1. Great art. It's a bunch of short stories. They all kind of fit into one thing, though. So it's like one news story.
Into one thing.
Yeah.
Going back to the big stuff innuendo.
Yeah. No, there was a really cool alternate cover for Tank Girl where she's in a rocket ship, which is
It's a large phallus.
Yeah, it's a phallus. But what do you expect from Tank Girl? Come on.
And it's not just on the cover, folks. It is in Jamie Hewlett's story.
Yeah, which was my favorite of all of them.
Really cool to see Hewlett doing comics again.
Yeah.
Please do more than 6 pages in the next story, please.
Do all of the pages in the next story.
Yeah, I would like a full issue, please.
Yeah, one full issue.
But all the backup artists were really great, too.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, a lot of them maybe all of them have done Tank Girl work in the past, so it's all very familiar.
Yeah,
it's classic Tank Girl.
Totally.
Everything about it, from the dialogue to the art to everything, was just like, this is what Tank Girl's supposed to be.
To big kangaroo phallus.
Yes. Lots of phalluses.
Lots of phalluses.
Lots of phalluses. All right, coming in at number 1. We talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And it's finally here. It's World, issue number 1.
Woo!
Written by Jason Aaron, illustrated by Mike Del Mundo.
Yeah.
His name is probably the coolest to say in comics.
Del Mundo.
Del Mundo.
And his art is muy bien.
Yeah, I think we did an art pick like one time, but if we were doing an art pick this week, this would not only be the number 1, it would also be the art pick.
Yeah,
Which I maybe hit.
I think that it'd be a little cooler if he had a little bit more space to work, a little bit more of the full page spreads, but then at the same time, there's a lot to establish here because who is this character?
Yep, I don't know anything about any of these people going into it, and so yeah, there's a whole lot of story that you have to get out of the way in the first issue. So my hunch is as we move further through Weird World, we'll get
those big
like,
2-page spreads
yeah,
and stuff.
Where all the action, everything's kind of spread out a little bit more, where you're not overwhelmed every time you turn the page, which I don't know if it was every time you turn the page, but there were definitely some pages in Weird World where you got to just stare at it.
You're like, whoa!
And let your eyes adjust,
Yeah.
and then you can figure out where you're supposed to be reading.
Yeah, that big pulled out view of the whole floating island, and
Yeah.
you're like, so where is he in all of this? And then you're like, oh, they drew a little box around him.
Yeah, like, that's convenient. You
It
are
was
here.
cool. But yeah, it did take like a moment of like, what exactly is this? But it was great.
Yeah. So Weird World, number 1, hands down my favorite Secret Wars tie-in so far, and yeah, if you're
And it has the least to do with Secret Wars thus far.
yeah, I was gonna say if you're like a lot of people that I met today that were like, I want to read Marvel books, but what is Secret Wars and do I care? I'm like, A, yes you care, and B, if you don't want to read like a bunch of stuff that's continuity, just read Weird World because. You know.
Yeah, it requires nothing of you
Yeah.
other than that you enjoy cool art and cool sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge risk that Marvel's taking because their whole universe, except for like 3 books, is going Battle World. I mean, you have like Silk, Spider-Gwen, Squirrel Girl, like a few like things like that around the edges, but everything else, if you want to read a Marvel book, you're reading Battle World, you're reading something in this new world that Doom has made. So it can, yeah. Props to Marvel for taking the risk, and props on their execution so far.
Props to all the teams doing such creative work.
Yes.
Previous watch!
Previews watch. And remember, these are not in any particular order other than the order that they're printed in. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Two Brothers. It's a hardcover, original hardcover. Who's it by, Foxy? Tell the people.
Oh, it's by Gabriel Ba, Fabio Moon. Moonba,
Moonba!
the twin sensations.
That brought you Day Tripper.
One of the best, one of their best works, certainly, and definitely one of my favorite graphic novels that, you know, turns people onto comics.
Yeah, so this book is going to be awesome. It's twin brothers Omar and Yaqub may share the same features, but they cannot be more different from one another. After a brutally violent exchange between the young boys, Yaqub is sent from his home in Brazil to live with his relatives in Lebanon, only to return 5 years later as a virtual stranger to his parents, and tensions with Omar unchanged. So I think it's going to be really cool. The one preview page of art shows off both of their art talents. Check it out. It'll be available in October.
Up next from Image.
Oh yeah. It is 8 House Kiem.
You know, it's still by Brandon Graham, but this has a new artist. You want to try pronouncing that one?
Oh god, you set me up for this one.
Ha!
Yeah, Xerxo.
Wow.
Those X's have
I'm going to
be
say
Z's.
Xerxo G. Penalta.
Xerxo G. Penalta. Man, we
tried,
man.
We tried.
I'm sorry if I butchered it.
But hey, regardless of how your name is pronounced, killer art. I can't wait to read this book. I honestly don't care what it's about, but it sounds like it's about something cool too.
I think this is going to be one of the biggest books that Image publishes this year. That's just a hunch, though.
What does it actually say it's about?
A new 8 House storyline starts this issue with amazingly detailed art by Xerxo G. Penalta, as an astral projection soldier is sent on a secret mission.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a thing now that's going to be in my life. Astral projection, that's like where you use your, like...
That's what Doctor Strange does when he sends his spirit out of his body to go, like,
yeah, okay.
do stuff.
That's what I thought. It's like a meditative thing.
So yeah, next up is 2 books from Boom Studios that I thought we could just give a quick mention to both of them. John Flood is the first, from the man who has brought us...
The Strange Talents of Luther Strode.
Yeah, Luther Strode. It's got a lot of hype around it. I haven't personally read it, but I've heard a lot of good things.
It's one of those books that's constantly recommended to me.
Totally. So I figured, cool, I'd be happy to jump on a new series by that person. And this one sounds pretty cool right up my alley.
Oh, he's the same one that did... I'm sorry, the artist, I think, is the same guy that did Deep State.
Oh, cool, yeah, and Deep State was cool too.
Deep State was cool.
So this sounds great, and the basic sell is like, if you're a fan of Desolation Jones, which I loved from Warren Ellis, a little supernatural detective work, and you know, they of course throw the Sherlock Holmes reference in there too, but it's basically someone who is again exploring dream states investigatorily. They see patterns and they get in the crosshairs of a supernatural threat of some kind.
We have a theme developing for this show.
Yeah.
It is the supernatural. It is astral projection.
And then this one, also a little supernatural. Welcome Back. This is the one that's like assassins fighting, killing each other, and loving each other through time. Through
infinite time loops.
Yeah, through a reincarnation, and I don't know, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then they said that the art is reminiscent of Becky Cloonan and Sean Gordon Murphy, which you can see right here. It looks pretty freaking cool.
I love that Boom has been wading into the creator-owned like waters, just full steam ahead.
Totally.
And they've been knocking a few out of the park. And I think Welcome Back is definitely going to be a hit. And John Flood has me really intrigued. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, hey.
And these are not the only new series they have in this catalog. There's at least a couple others that look pretty cool
they
that
have
we'll be trying
Sleepy
out.
Hollow Providence #1.
Yeah, I don't care about Sleepy Hollow, but there was one about like an American soldier or something.
Americatown.
Yeah, Americatown sounded pretty cool.
Yep.
There's a new Over the Garden Wall series. There's a lot of cool stuff coming from Boom. Those are just the two that I thought were like the real tip top. And then the last thing on Previews Watch, get mega hyped
for Space Dumplings. One part hungry, one part awesome.
Craig Thompson, little girl protagonist, lots of cool misfits in space.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for our Previews Watch. Man, and we didn't even talk about the new phonogram from Kieran Gillen.
No, yep, that's coming out from Image.
This is awesome previews. For any of you wondering where we get all of our wonderful information, it's this Previews catalog right here. It's a diamond catalog. It is available for sale wherever comic books are sold. We have them here at Astro Zombies. Check them out, and you can get caught up on all the stuff that, you know, maybe you can turn us on to something. Foxy, don't eat the previews. It's not for eating.
Fine.
We'll go get some dumplings.
Yeah, space dumplings.
Till next time, stay frosty.
Coming at you.